Conor was probably about 4 and graduating from preschool. If they never graduated from high school or college, you would have this. And then, of course, I never really realized that he wouldn't graduate from high school or college, and this is the graduation picture that I'm left with, really. This is of Conor graduating from 5th grade, going into middle school. And, at the time, he seemed, well, he was the oldest of my sons, so looking back on it, he looks so young. I think Parker being very similar to Conor, they would tend to argue a little bit more. Riley, on the other hand, especially Riley, really looked up to Conor, laughing at everything he said, even if it wasn't funny. Conor really had a great moral compass, I think, and I think that was the sense that people got. We loved watching as years went by and he grew up, seeing his accomplishments. He was doing great in school, had a great GPA, very successful at what he did, and of course it looked like, amazing potential. I was home about 3:30, I guess, and at that point the principal calls, and I got this just terrible feeling at that time. Wow, something had happened. Maybe Conor had cheated on a test, which at that point was my worst nightmare. Oh my gosh, wow, what did my kid do? When she had asked me if I was sitting down or standing up, I sort of, again, had that sinking feeling. And of course, when she told me that Conor had been killed, you don't really remember that moment. So on that day, as I understand it, he started to do what was part of the normal routine at that time in October, which was training for cross country with his friends. And about 4 of them were heading to the park, as they did every day. They'd all cross the street, and on this one particular occasion, he went across the street. The driver hit him right around the school area, and he was hit in the center of the vehicle and thrown across the street about 75 yards. It's definitely still very, very painful, but really all we can do is try to help others learn so that we can avoid. We definitely can avoid. We definitely can prevent these fatalities. The driver of the car that hit Conor was not paying attention. She was a young driver, 18 years old. Clearly, she was doing something that took her attention away from the road. Either she was looking at her GPS, looking at her phone, reaching for her phone, reaching for something, because had she been looking at the road, this is something that she could have at least attempted to avoid by braking, by avoiding, instead of just running smack dab into him. I think the message is just really very simple. It's time to refocus that we're in a car to drive. It's a responsibility not only that we have for who's riding in the car, but it's for really everybody around us. And at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to try to be safe because we have people who need us at home, people that are waiting for us to get home, people that want us to get home. And, that's the real reason we need to concentrate.